We have a major Mason McTavish contract update in this edition of Ducks Digest. Hey, it's Mike Nelson. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I want to thank the 19% of you, the ones who are watching these videos, who have already hit the sub button. But 81% of you, what's going on? Hit that subscribe button. We're the newest Anaheim Ducks YouTube channel, bringing you everyday Ducks content. Help out a fellow Ducks fan since 2003, and hit that subscribe button. So, Mason McTavish still has not been signed by the Ducks, but this morning we got an interesting article from the Hockey News talking about exactly what is going on with McTavish and the Ducks. There's been rumors of the Ducks shopping, McTavish trying to trade him, Detroit Red Wings, Montreal Canadiens. Well, I got bad news for fans of the other teams because Mason McTavish is not going to be traded. He will not be traded this offseason, and basically this article talks about why that is the case. So what is going on with Mason McTavish? Basically, this article by Patrick President on HockeyNews.com talks a little bit about this title, kind of says it all. Reports, Mason McTavish prefers a long-term contract while Pat Verbeek prefers a bridge. That is where talks stand at the moment between the Ducks and Mason McTavish. And that doesn't come as a surprise because we've seen Pat Verbeek play hardball with his former, Trevor Zegras, Jamie Drysdale. We saw how that ended. But the same thing was going on in the offseason. The Ducks just not willing to give a long-term deal to the young guys. And it's a little frustrating as a fan because you know that these players don't appreciate that sort of treatment. They can't be appreciating that sort of treatment, right? It creates a tough environment between the players, Verbeek, and the coaching staff, because I just feel like the players don't feel like they're being treated correctly when this is happening, right? I just don't think they feel it's the right thing, when it comes to them, their treatment. And I think McTavish has been a great player for the Ducks, and he deserves a new contract, right? He definitely deserves, I think, to be paid for what he has done at the NHL level. And he's played better than Zegras or Drysdale, in my opinion. So I think signing him, I thought, was going to be a no-brainer. But it seems like the front office thinks otherwise, right? And unfortunately, we know how it ended with Zegras and Drysdale. And McTavish is not going to be traded this offseason, right? Because the Ducks, like I said, probably going to work out a deal with him. But then the future is uncertain. It's uncertain when it comes to McTavish, right? I mean, that he could be traded at the trade deadline. It is uncertain, the future of McTavish, I think, especially after what is going on. You have to think it's uncertain, right? The Ducks, of course, have a lot of business, to attend to, and that is, of course, signing McTavish, kind of what this article talks about. McTavish, is a player that is highly sought after by a lot of teams. Everybody seems to be interested in McTavish. The rumors have been going like crazy as soon as this whole situation started between the front office and the Ducks. So, the Ducks know that they have a very good asset that they can trade. I think there's more interest, arguably, for Zegras. There's more interest for McTavish than there was for Trevor Zegras or Jamie Drysdale. Arguably, the interest is higher for this guy, and I think because he's a better player. And that is, of course, concerning with the idea of McTavish being traded. But what does everybody think? Do you think McTavish, I don't think he's getting traded this offseason, right? I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that the Ducks are not going to trade McTavish now. They will probably work out a deal with him, and then, he will be a part of the team. Maybe not at the beginning of training camp, but, come early October, McTavish will be suiting up for the Ducks. But the question is, do you think McTavish eventually gets traded? Because we know how it ended for Zegras and for Drysdale, right? So I think that's where I'm concerned. I think the Ducks should not trade McTavish. I don't think you're going to get much for him. I mean, it's kind of like the Ducks, what did the Ducks really get for Trevor Zegras, right? They got a fourth-line player, a lot of downs with Paling. Didn't get a lot. Jamie Drysdale, they got Cutter Gauthier, who, has a lot of upside. The future, again, uncertain with Gauthier, unfortunately. I mean, it's too early to tell. We just don't know. And, that's the thing with McTavish. I mean, how much can you really get for this guy? How much are teams really willing to give up, right? I mean, are they willing to give up an NHL-ready player? Because that's what the Ducks need right now. They need NHL-ready players. They don't need prospects. They need NHL-ready players. And, of course, the McTavish situation is eerie similar, and as the saying goes, twice is a coincidence, 3 times is the pattern. You're going to have to agree with that. And, yeah, I mean, the Ducks have been really, tight when it comes to giving these guys long-term deals. Like Verbeek said here, part of my philosophy is I like to do bridge deals with players. This is what he said at the annual post-trade deadline Ducks migration event for season ticket holders. It allows the players 2 things. It allows them to have no pressure to grow and get better before they have a long-term contract. It also allows the team to assess them over the 3 years of how good they are really going to be. Imagine a GM saying that. I mean, I really think as a player, I would feel offended. I would be pissed off by comments like that. Because you're basically saying you don't believe in your players when you're saying that publicly. So I am a little bit, bothered when I read comments like that from the Ducks GM, Pat Verbeek. But again, the Ducks have been at sometimes mismanaged in the last few years, and that's why they are where they're at. So, Verbeek has to get his act together. We got to fix these problems, because if the Ducks don't fix these problems, I mean, I think the next guy out is Verbeek, right? I mean, that is the truth of the matter. We've already fired a couple coaches, so the next guy to go is Verbeek, and it's not Joel Quenneville. It's not Joel Quenneville. It's got to be Pat Verbeek. If things don't work out this season, Pat Verbeek has to be fired. He has to be fired because of these comments, the way he treats the players, the way things are going. I think he has to go. And it's not Joel Quenneville, right? I mean, that is my opinion. And I don't know what you think, but if the Ducks don't have a good season, I think Pat Verbeek doesn't deserve to be the Ducks GM the next season, right? He just does not deserve that spot. This is what Jimmy Murphy of RG Media said on the Sick podcast this past week. He said he's not being shopped by any means, talking about McTavish. He said Pat Verbeek wants a bridge deal, 2 to 3 year deal. McTavish wants a longer deal. He wants more average annual value than they're offering. There was also some comments from Cam Robinson of Elite Prospects saying with McTavish, I always felt he's going to stay in Anaheim, and I still do. I think the issue with them is McTavish would like a nice, big, fat, long-term deal that pays him out, and I think Anaheim would like to bridge him and obviously be cheap. I mean, that is what the Ducks are doing here, being cheap, and it's very disappointing as a Ducks fan to see this. It was likely never to be reported, but if McTavish was willing to sign a 7 or 8 year deal under $8 million, he would have likely eclipsed that value in short order. That is, of course, also another thought on that. But, I mean, I think it's ridiculous the way this is being handled. The Ducks are being cheap. Verbeek is being difficult, right? And I think, like I said, Verbeek has to go. If things don't turn out well this season, Pat Verbeek is the first guy to be fired. And I think everybody around the Ducks fan base has to agree with me on that. But what do you think? Comment below. As always, make sure to subscribe, and let's go Ducks.